The Row and Mo Show is filmed in front of a live studio audience.
Honey, I'm Ro.
Where have you been? It's been days.
Hey, that methadone clinic isn't gonna cater itself. They love their accoutrements.
Tell me you didn't make your famous Rose 3-cheese caprese. Blech.
You know me, Caprese is my middle name, even though I think Italians are imaginary, like Mario or HPV.
You got a letter, and it's real bad. If you don't record your sponsorship deal, you could be sued for breach of contract.
Wait, did you say sued?
Yeah, and you could face 5 to 10 years of federal prison. You know what they do to girls like you in prison.
Tell me that orange compliments my eyes and that I have a summery complexion?
Yeah, before the lobotomy. And you go away for 10 to 20 years.
Not my brain. What else did the letter say?
It says they're reopening Alcatraz, but only for YouTubers and murderers. And you could be locked up with Philip DeFranco and Robert Durst for 20 to 40 years.
No! Philip DeFranco is so annoying.
You gotta record your sponsorship for Athletic Greens.
Athletic Greens? The best daily nutrition drink on the market? But they wouldn't have to pay me a cent.
Well, you better get to it. Say, is that hat new?
This thing? Long story. I'll tell you over oolong tea time later tonight.
Did you strangle your Amtrak conductor again?
You know me. He looked at me funny, and I get angry. I don't like being angry. I don't like when people think I'm funny. I needed to see his eyes go dark. I squeezed so hard that he screamed. The traffic of the city is so loud. So loud. But his screams make it all feel quiet. I need it. I need it to feel like me. Future Ro, take it away.
I used to be like you, sad, pathetic, 5'7", when I was in 5th grade. I used to have no idea where to get my nutrients. Whole Foods and the ship from Dead Space occupied the exact same space in my mind. I would aimlessly try to do push-ups, give or take the push-up, or scamper on all fours through the gardens of gated communities, grazing on the lettuce in their gardens like a rabbit from a Beatrix Potter book that was about to learn that trespassing gets you euthanized. But thankfully, A1G by Athletic Greens changed all of that and raised my FICO score. Okay, not the FICO score part. A1G is a nutritional drink and supplement that is comprehensive and basically usable for whatever diet or lifestyle you have. It helps support your immune system by promoting biodiversity in your gut, probably something you didn't even know that you needed. You've been cultivating a monoculture down there, and imagine what stigma that promotes for immigration. Let's be progressive, honestly, and drink some A1G. I've noticed definitely improvement in my digestive health, and just having like a micro habit every single morning. Drinking this has by extension kind of fixed my sleep schedule, so I can't really skip it anymore without feeling off balance. It makes me feel more energized, gives me a bit more clarity to start my day, and honestly, I wasn't expecting a ton taste-wise, but it tastes actually really good. It like has this nice sweetness and this appley undertone that I really enjoy. You can check the ingredients list yourself. It's like a ton of natural stuff, probiotics, fruits, veggies, everything. And it's non-dairy too. I've been drinking it for about 3 or 4 weeks now, I think, and I actually already recommended it to my roommate, so now we both use it in the morning, and he likes it too. He's gained 600 pounds of muscle and can fold me like a paper crane now. Look at how easy this is to make, okay? You just scoop this powder in here, and then you shake it. I'm gonna cut to when I've screwed on the top. We're gonna do a cut, and it's gonna be a jump cut, and it's gonna be seamless. Look at how easy this is, right? A baby could do this. I was a baby before I did this. Athletic Greens changed that. I grew 5 feet. I have leathery wings now. I'm sorry. And just like that, delectable morning time beverage. Easy. Click the link in my description to get a 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D3K2 and 5 travel packs free with your purchase. It's definitely worth it for you, for your health, etc. And thank you to Athletic Greens for sponsoring this video. Oh, I'm getting a prophetic message from God. Then I need to get back to the topic. Future Rose, take it away. Hello, welcome to the back room of a Foot Locker. I'm a locker where they keep the feet. So glad you decided to stop by the channel. If you subscribe right now, I'll ask her out. No, I can't. She's the prettiest girl at Claremont High. She'd never go out for somebody like me, just a nerd. Remember what Mr. Everson said, women only care about 2 things, money and if you're poisoning them. I'll do it. The bit is over. Social media, a mashup of 2 of the scarier things to exist in recent history. Social constructs, race, gender, media constructs, Late Night with Jimmy Fallon, a Bill Maher special where he talks about how getting Moderna triple boosted is cooler than rioting or whatever. Most social media is just doing the work forums wouldn't do to disguise themselves, in the same way they have to give Rachel Leigh Cook a makeover and She's All That to introduce her to contacts and foundation. In the time that I was growing up, there was a big 3 of social media, sort of a Father, Son, and Holy Ghost for people who got automatically signed up for Google Plus accounts when they realized they had to log in to subscribe to that Dan and Phil gaming channel. Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat were my sun, moon, and rising, and each of them had their their own quirkified existence. Instagram was for the it girls. I was not an it girl at the time. I didn't unlock my transitive property until I was 19, and in middle school, I was trying to do Connor Frantashik, which, when you're not white, reads very barbershop quartet adjacent. Snapchat is a bad place full of miscreants, malefactors, and reprobates. Opening Snapchat to a notification from a group chat is like having one of the West Side Story gangs start approaching you while they snap. The entire app is wearing an ill-fitted trench coat and a Stetson with like cartoonishly hovering bright eyes that are darting back and forth under a street light. They're also smoking a cigar. Twitter is the type of app I can get behind because I didn't really use it in middle school, but nowadays whenever I check a middle school classmate's old Twitter, I'm like, wow, I could send this to your university and it would be over for you. But why would I, you know? They're kind of fucking themselves better than I ever could by paying $160,000 for an English degree with a communications minor. Should have saved Snapchat for here because then I could have said, speaking of communications with a minor, but the past is the past and the present is the present. The only other notable social media for me at the time was Tumblr, which was frequented by people who were either very gay or had a vested interest in generic tapestries and appropriating dreamcatchers. Throw in a bit of Looking for Alaska John Green hagiography and you had many a 7th grader in my day. Oh, I guess Vine too, but in retrospect, Vine was kind of the jet turbine on the plane of American culture that burst into flames after being struck by lightning. I think social media entered my life at the worst time possible, around 5th grade. I was so desperate to be liked, but I was so unlikable. I thought bow ties might be my thing, and I did a lot of close-up magic. I don't think any of my classmates were particularly interested in me trying to figure out the David Blaine levitation trick on Maine. All of this combined with the social stress of middle school was just a nightmare, because middle school as a period of life should be defined first and foremost by watching Grown Ups 2 without telling your parents, and pretending you are not fruity because your sibling already is, and you don't drink or do drugs, so you feel like you might as well complete the straight edge trifecta. As time has gone on over my life, I've seen the death of many a social media. MySpace, which nobody cared about, Google+, which borderline was a celebration, and Snapchat's gradual transition into being a crowdsourced Daily Mail with random men telling you to buy teeth whitening. I've also seen people put all of their eggs into apps that died in moments, which is why Be Real feels like Periscope for audio engineering students who carry around Trader Joe's tote bags. To everybody in real life who knows that I carry around a Trader Joe's tote bag, please don't tell my mom. She'll figure out that I'm gay. But I don't think in my life I've seen something half as scary as TikTok, unless you count the time I went to the premiere of Pixels. Timely and funny. That's what you get when you click on a random video. It's timely and funny. Pixels came out in fucking 2015. To be quite frank, if I had TikTok in middle school, I would be in federal prison right now. Can't explain exactly why, but I wouldn't be getting out. Maybe I compare things to 9/11 too much on this channel, but in my defense, there are so many bad things and only one 9/11 to compare them to. TikTok is like 9/11 if they also hit the Pentagon. How crazy would it have been if they hit the side of the Pentagon and then Bin Laden came out with like, you know how he was doing like post-terror attack vlogs? If he like came up with a vlog that was like, oh, I guess it's the square now, because they like decide, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop because it feels like I'm writing like AO3 9/11 fanfic, and I don't like that. It's crazy because TikTok is like if they took the rapid consumability and overpopulation of information from Twitter, the visual engagement and endless scrollability from Instagram, the short video length from Vine, and the torture strategies used by Vlad the Impaler, and combine them into one application. There's a bunch of xenophobic sentiment that a lot of people have about data being taken by TikTok and sold to the Chinese government. You know, the proverbial boogeyman for every societal problem. Like, oh, my children keep me at an emotional distance since they've moved out. I think this has something to do with the MSG and Frito-Lay products. But if data collection was where I drew my lines, I would not use computers or Abakai, so I don't care that much about it. People are just particularly worried about data collection because the TikTok algorithm is so good. It functions like a Silicon Valley Zoltar machine. It knew that Jesus was going to die before God did, I think. But TikTok is just the prime vessel for overstimulation, unproductive discourse, and just general mayhem. And in this video, I'm going to try to unpack a bunch of different problems I have with it. I know the video is called The Problem with TikTok. Well, surprise, you're getting like 50 problems, and a lot of riffing, and a lot of stuff that doesn't even relate even a little bit. I can hear you right now. Oh, but Rose, what gives you the right to lecture me on this social media application? Well, I'll have you know that I have a master's in media studies from your mother's bedroom. She gave me classes when I attended night school, and she honestly was really accommodating to my ADHD, you know, my learning problems, and I fucked her a lot. But really, I got my start on TikTok in May of 2020, and I currently have around 300,000 followers on there. If you need a reference point in real life, 300,000 TikTok followers can be bartered for like a handful of pretzel sticks and one of the Happy Meal apple slices packages that taste like Dawn dish soap. I've watched that app pretty closely for over 3 years now, and I've been creating on it for 2 years as of like a few days ago. Happy anniversary to me. I will celebrate by receiving a community guidelines violation for accidentally saying the word Democrat too loud. I started off posting little joke videos, some of which contained political takes. If you're wondering what my politics were, they were the good ones and the right ones. Whichever ones you think are smart, I can guarantee you that mine were 2, nay 3 times as good and smart, with some added philosophical nuance. Foucault, Rand, Smith, these are all thinkers that I've skimmed a think piece about. But really, my politics are just the ones that fight for you, your family, and God. The ones that recognize our country is a beautiful melting pot with the heart of an eagle, the strength of a titan, and the brain scene of a roided out Lou Ferrigno stumbling through a county fair trying to choke out a cotton candy vendor. I'm a commie. I made these little TikTok videos for like 3 or 4 months with the general idea that the more low-effort one-off jokes I posted, the better chance I had at getting big, and that was kind of true, honestly. I really started growing around September or October of 2020, though, when I started fully scripting, editing, and scoring little sketches that a lot of people ended up finding me from. They would probably take me a few hours a day, and one of them landed me on the front page of Reddit, something you can really only say about videos of, like, cool trains or Gabe Newell. But more on my escapades later. For now, let's talk about Cringer. I hardly even take my wife, please. Rodney Dangerfield, you're telling me to shrimp fry this rice. At this point, TikTok is ubiquitous. It feels like a staple of internet culture, but back in 2018 to 2019, it really wasn't. TikTok was a genetic mutation of Musical.ly, and by that, I mean it was a calculated rebrand of Musical.ly. You know, the lip-syncing app that dominated thespian circles during Jessie J album cycles? TikTok might actually be one of the most successful rebrands I've seen in my entire life, but it took time to kick in, you know? The early days of TikTok were almost entirely like quote-unquote cringe content, just making fun of the weirdos who were using the app with any kind of frequency. That meant that a lot of the initial user base of the app, at least popular creators, were going to be young, mean, Caucasian boys, which is actually the name of Lana Del Rey's next project. It's a concept album that imagines a world where cops are attractive. Early adopters of TikTok are, of course, going to be, you know, people like furries, cosplayers, and by extension, a bunch of queer people, a bunch of neurodivergent people, and the third gender, annoying people. If you're heterosexual and doing cosplay, you gotta do some self-reflection because you should be putting on dusty denim overalls and suffocating in a copper mine for your nuclear family. You know, like a real heterosexual. None of this 21st century metrosexual gender norms defying. I want to see a headlamp on that melon. Run for Senate, shoot big game, and mount it. Just stay out of our business. One of the earliest trends on TikTok was the gamer furry war, which, like the Second World War, has a pretty self-explanatory title and led to a economic boom in manufacturing sectors. Now, if I had to draw a line in the sand and take a partisan stance on the furry war, I would stand snout to snout with my mod acrylic brothers in arms. This is in part because I think that furries are this nation's strongest defense against fascism, but also because whenever I hear the word gamer, my brain automatically replaces it with racist. Oh, you're going to an esports convention. Whatever that means. And to gamers like this, a message. I get it, okay? I'm just like you. I like clutching victory royales and securing W's. I think my stepdad is a pussy, and I hate when he talks about his weird marketing job for Metro PCS. My real dad is cool, and he lets me smoke menthols on the balcony, and taught me how to use Kik so he can send me woodworking Reddit posts without my mom getting mad. He wants to teach me how to use a bandsaw. His girlfriend is scary, and so are most women. I don't know where this bit is going. Don't be racist. So in these early days of TikTok, cringe was king, and the easiest way to get likes or attention, really, was to just dunk on these cringe cosplayers or lip syncers or whatever. There was, of course, the subcultures of these people who would eventually go on to, like, have a lot more notoriety on the app. They're the people who are creating trends. They're the people who are, you know, making audios trend and stuff. But the people who are dunking on them are, of course, going to be the cool kids. And this leads, of course, to a bunch of bullying, a bunch of harassment, and a bunch of cringe compilations, and a lot of very specific people flooding to the app to see what the fuss was about. In reality, most of the subcultures on either side of this conflict would not become the dominating force on the app, later being replaced by more traditional Musical.ly-esque stars who were just young, attractive people dancing or singing along to music. Although there are still successful cosplayers and successful people making fun of cosplayers, they are not like the thing you think of when you think of the app anymore. You know? You're gonna think of Charlie D'Amelio and Addison Rae before you think of like gamer guy making fun of hit or miss girl. This era and just the early days of TikTok also led to a bunch of TikTokers that consider themselves OG for having been on the app while the war was happening, or even before that, usually gaining notoriety if they had been content creators during that period. This gets into the TikTok boom-bust cycle because the career of every TikToker is kind of like the US housing market. It's good for a minute, then it hits a crazy recession and never really does those numbers again, and all of this is the bank's fault. This is important to remember, you know, a part of the start of TikTok becoming a cultural staple was kind of based in reactionary bullying of subcultures, you know, especially subcultures that had a hard time standing up for themselves. So what kind of app results from this sort of thing when so many users are just being driven by like a cringe compilation 1, cringe compilation 2, cringe, you know? It's not great. An app full of young, very volatile users who are looking for constant entertainment is what's going to happen. Some 47% of TikTok users are under 29, with 25% being under 19, so we're talking impressionable, vulnerable people being thrown into a possibly reactionary cesspool. Now, this isn't to say that every creator during this time was a terrible person. I know a bunch of creators who came up around this time and are fine, funny, cool people, but it is to say that TikTok does not have the cleanest past, and also not the cleanest present, and also not the cleanest future. I'm gonna say something that sounds sad because it is sad. My life has kind of been defined by media consumption. I'm basically a blank canvas Tina Fey Pollocked on for a few years, then I had to spend the rest of my life unlearning white womanhood from compulsive 30 Rock viewership through my adolescence. Sometimes I still cry in department stores when I get caught shoplifting just to flex that muscle. When I was younger, I would watch movies. You know, my dad loved The Day the Earth Stood Still, a movie about a cool silver robot and an alien that kind of just hang out for a bit then leave, like any good friend or in-law. And my mom liked Austin Powers, a movie she tried to show me when I was 6, and I was confused and upset. I'm still scared of sex and British people to this day. That was my job. From a young age though, literally like 6 or 7, YouTube started being my primary mode of content consumption. I watched like every classic channel you can think of, got confused by Rickrolls, thought Ray William Johnson was good for a long time, the whole 9 yards. When I look back on that part of my childhood as an adult, I kind of wish I had spent it cultivating a better understanding of other forms of art. I wished I had watched films and television that was appropriate for me, rather than trying to cobble together a vision of what those were based on amateurs trying to imitate them for, you know, internet clout. I think a lot about how my attention span was probably molded and distorted by YouTube during that time. I still have trouble watching movies, television, reading books, even longer YouTube videos can evade me. Mind you, I grew up at peak YouTube when the videos were like 3 to 10 minutes long. Food Battle was a bigger deal than the 2008 housing crash, and it wasn't even close. So during this time, my attention span was being soaked in vinegar and pickled, and I honestly don't know if I ever recuperated from this, you know? Even more so, I don't think that I ever recuperated from the social aspect of YouTube. It was such a uniquely young and loud corner of the internet. I got so many new insecurities, I developed so many annoying habits, and mirrored so many weird internet personas because I thought it would be the cool thing to do. Comment sections were Normandy Beach, and I was Tom Hanks, and I had no way to make heads or tails of what I was seeing, much less if it was reputable or true. There were so many new concepts flying at me at supersonic speeds, so many of them I was just not at all ready for. I was exposed to pornography at a really young age, and YouTube is, in some ways, a bit to blame for that. Videos at the time were constantly alluding to and referencing adult content and smut, and just generally emanating sexual overtones whenever they had the opportunity to, because that's what was like funny at the time. Now take all of that and make everything like worse, and you'll understand why I'm not just worried about TikTok consumption on a macro level, but TikTok consumption for young people specifically. I'm not trying to be a Luddite or advocate for regression, but the internet is a big, bad, scary place, and every day it becomes more volatile. Back in the day, the things YouTube videos would reference were obscure sex acts that I could read about on Urban Dictionary, but like with TikTok, it's 45 video long series on the personal life of a random person whose story ends in the most grotesque, vile way you could possibly think of. And that's not even mentioning that TikTok is coded for controversy, as is every single social media. We don't pay for these apps, so in some way, we must be the ones generating them revenue. The longer we are on the app arguing and or gawking about whatever horrors have befallen us, the more money they make. And with such a young user base, I feel like it's just a terrible, terrible thing to get into. And, you know, let's not even get into the beauty standard stuff. Actually, yeah, let's get into the beauty standard. That's important. Young people have so much to worry about in this stupid world, but imagine all of those worries about body image and beauty with such a high-octane, concentrated social media bolstering every single insecurity you could have. When you go on TikTok Live, they automatically apply a filter that makes your face slimmer, your skin smoother, and your eyes bigger. Or at least they did it when I would go live for, you know, at least well over a year. You know, I had to go intentionally turn it off, and they had sliders so you could make the differences even more minute and, you know, imperceptible. It's like all of the concerns we had about Snapchat filters promoting Eurocentric beauty standards multiplied by a factor of 1,000, and then every single thing you post has the possibility of reaching millions of people, regardless of whether you intend it to or not. Scrolling this app every night in middle school would have altered my brain chemistry, and I would have come out of 8th grade looking like Barry Keoghan Joker. This, of course, goes for adults too. Like, I have known so many people who are haplessly addicted to the TikTok app, and in turn, like, the trends that they view manifest reality. People can talk about artists ironically until all of a sudden they experience a massive blow up from their more niche audiences. Like, think about how Young Lean was, you know, a decently widely appreciated underground cloud rap legend and innovator, and then all of a sudden Ginseng Strip 2002 got turned into a TikTok sound, and now it's sitting at 160 million plays. Like, Jesus Christ, that's massive. TikTok also creates what we consume. The amount of musicians who we regularly listen to who blew up through TikTok is staggering. There are even pop stars talking about how their labels want them to make TikToks on TikTok, and in turn, TikTok drives attention to those videos, driving attention to their songs, putting pressure on the artist to make more music, which then they have to promote on TikTok again. This is actually like decent, right? This kind of levels the playing field, because in the same way a random person can have their TikTok blow up, a random musician can have their song blow up. But being an overnight success can also be scary. Imagine if you woke up and you had a good FICO credit score right now, right? Wouldn't you be suspicious for the rest of your life? My friend Dev Lemons at Songsight just made a good video about digital burnout and the creator economy for like music on her channel, so go check that out. I might put the link in my bio if I remember. I'm kind of stupid, so it might elude me. Anyways, my point is not that this way of promoting music is bad, but that the way this app functions functions in terms of consumption impacts our consumption of other medias in a much heavier way than maybe any other social media that came before it, other than like the most popular social media in history, FDR fireside chats. Nightmare, right? This app was supposed to be about innocent stuff like bullying people for their interests and cultivating large communities of people who will watch children dance. And now it's about views and money. And I didn't like write any of this formally, but I just need to say, there are a lot of groomers on TikTok. Like, I don't know if it's more than other social medias, but it feels more than other social medias. Because I have had to cut off more groomers on TikTok than any other social media. It's really disturbing. I'll move on though. Being a TikTok creator is bad, you know, like bottom of the barrel bad, like GameStop $2.99 price tag used Xbox 360 game bad. Do you know what it's like to tell your parents you make TikToks?
Your dentist saw me on the For You page. For You page. I'm not sure. Is that like an Al Jazeera thing? Is it my name? On the account, first and last. According to the right? Okay, so family history of hallucinations or antipsychotic. Is this Ro Random TikTok in the room with us right now? You know. Is it? Yeah. No. When you play it back, like it kind of sounds like. But me. A lot of people sound like me because of my chain smoking era. So it's not. That could be. Really, anybody, if you think about it. Now that you're actually saying it back to me, but now you're playing it back, it's starting to come back. I remember, I think I did make that video, but I was off of mescaline at MJ's lake house party, so it doesn't really count because I wasn't fully lucid. Remember they put me in the piñata and they hit me with the bat so many times I had to go to urgent care. So I don't remember anything from that. Ma, okay, I know there are a lot of jokes about me being a virgin on that account. Woman to woman, mujer, right? I have a permissible amount of starkly Judeo-Christian sex. So, yeah, really only missionary. If we move at all, you know. it's not as feels, you know, like where it's a freeze frame, you know. I've had sex. I do. Can I take a closer look? Yeah, so that is my that is my TikTok account. I had it confused with like something else earlier. Sorry. No, it's a short form. It's a short form video. It's not gay porn. Who told you it was gay porn? It is not gay porn. If I was making gay porn, I would tell you. I tell you everything. You would know if I'm making gay porn. You would be on the ground floor. You would be investing in the gay porn, I hope. No, but it's not gay porn. TikTok is not gay porn. Okay, that one is gay porn, but I had nothing to do with that one. That was separate. Mom, give me your phone. Phone. Now. You lost it. You lost privileges. You lost phone. I'm checking your screen time, okay? If it's more than 45 minutes, you're losing it, okay? I'm keeping it until tomorrow. I thought we talked about you not doing TikTok on the weekdays because of your assignments, right? Right? Because this is what we're trying to avoid, right? Right? I did not call you a bitch in that TikTok caption. It was a trick of the light. Or perhaps a side effect of your mercury medication, which I think you should get re-prescribed. You know what, if I die tonight, it's of a broken heart, and you're not allowed to speak at the funeral unless you call me pretty. Oh, no, do not post that one to your LinkedIn page, Ma. Do you guys know what a top and a bottom are?
Am I at peace with being perceived? Jury is truly out on that one, I won't lie. I've been constantly viewed on the internet for like 2 years now, so I know how to quote retweet someone into oblivion, but in real life, if I experience the slightest transgression, I will pass out. I was walking down the street and 2 children that were on a balcony asked me if I was pretending to be a girl, and I said, sure, because they're children. They're not old enough to know about autogynephilia. Dumb joke. Oh, so the children can be passively transphobic to me, but as soon as I use my nunchucks on them, I'm the bad guy? No, I'm not. And I don't regret it. Somebody recently asked me if I felt treated better by TikTok or YouTube, and the amount to which I am treated better by YouTube is almost unspeakable. TikTok is my ex that I don't think of fondly, and was really into crypto, and kept on trying to get me to advertise coldest water. While I could never feasibly make a living off of TikTok with 300,000 followers, on YouTube I was able to make a living within the first 2 months of starting. YouTube gave me real money, and TikTok gave me a fist of gravel, and some coins for an arcade that only has the quarter-pushing tower thing. And this is because of something that people aren't as much aware of, I think. It is that TikTok doesn't offer you an audience, it offers you a statistically better chance at an audience. But it doesn't actually offer you access to any audience you've accrued. In that way, it's very much like me when I make videos and I offer you a 50-50 chance of whether I'll even get to the topic in the first 10 minutes. When I post on YouTube, I get an amount of views that feels proportionate to my subscriber count. I have 94,000 subscribers or whatever, and this video gets 79,000 views. That makes sense. Even 50,000 makes sense. My audience is seeing my videos, you know, most likely against their will. TikTok works differently though. It works on a sort of like circle-based algorithm as far as I understand, which is a technical term I learned from Codecademy. Basically, TikTok will take your video and show it to a group of people. If they respond to it, they show it to more people. If they all respond to it, they show it to more people, and so on and so on. You know, like anthrax emerging from permafrost, spreading across the wilderness. This makes it really hard for a video that people are not interested in to get to the For You page. Unfortunately, this is bad for creators though, because lo and behold, creators are not robots, and we are inconsistent, you know, with output frequency and quality and crashes. Actually, that means we are robots, just ones that Elon Musk funded development on. We're like the Tesla AI of video production. Every once in a while, somebody's gonna kill someone, and we just need to move past it. So sometimes we upload a shitty video and it gets shown to the first circle, let's say 5,000 people see it, and it dies there, surrounded by no loved ones. No bitches. Like we have tens or hundreds of thousands of followers and the video is shown to maybe 1% of them. This is not terrific. But to be fair, it is in the consumer's best interest to be shown only videos that will keep them entertained. What people fail to acknowledge, though, is that the consumer's best interest is not the creator or producer's best interest. In this scenario, it is the company's best interest. A platform like YouTube would die without its creators, without the people that draw you to it. A platform like TikTok could watch the person you love hit a depressive episode and stop posting and replace them with a similar creator the next day. It's a vicious cycle, truly, and I don't think people understand how often it happens. I've been in the app a few years, and I've been through a good few cycles of creators. Because of the high expectation of TikToks to be engaging and constantly high quality, otherwise, you know, they're just gonna get ignored, creators will burn themselves out making too much and then just kind of vanish into the ether after a few months period of relevancy. If you found me on TikTok, you saw that happen to me, right? Nearly every TikTok creator has their heyday and their downfall and their return to normalcy. It is perhaps the most perfect realization of your 15 minutes of fame, because let's be real, if we measured the cumulative lengths of the videos that got you famous, we're just barely making it to 1450. I think the worst part of this is that it is frighteningly accessible and changes people's relationship with social media as a whole. Kind of like having a discount ego death on salvia, going viral on TikTok can make you completely insufferable. If I was ever at any point annoying because of this, and let the record show that I apologize to my friends and family I made record TikToks. I know they weren't that funny. The emergence of terms like niche internet micro-celebrities say a lot about how our relationship with and preconceptions of fame have changed, becoming less reflective of play in A, B, C, or even D-list scenes, and becoming more reflective of just any increased quantity of attention. This isn't just reflective of ourselves though, this is reflective of us living in an attention economy. TikTok pays its creators pennies because what we do as individuals is, to the company, comparatively very little to what we do as a mass of content creators. I made around $2,500 through TikTok the whole time I was there, while accumulating well over 50 million views for the app, because attention on TikTok is both the chief commodity and completely meaningless on an individual scale. There is such a wealth of content and such a low barrier for content creation that they can pump out new content creators like Fast and Furious movies. It's ridiculous. On YouTube, I make more just from Patreon and 2 videos a month, and then ad reads. I made more when I made more videos, but that was too much. I didn't need them. But I might need that for my move to Los Angeles, so patreon.com/RoRamden, pretty please, top patron gets to put me on a leash and take me to Griffith Observatory when I get there. I still am convinced that most people do not understand how deep we are in this attention economy though, right? Like the disposability of TikTok content creators is just a reminder that it's not our videos that are like important or necessary or valuable, it is the attention they garner, and most importantly, the eyes they keep on a screen. This has been true for film, television, YouTube, of course. So long as capital reigns supreme, so too will all art wishing to be made for a living be made to bend to its knee, blah blah, yada yada, Marx Brothers, I don't know. But with TikTok, we see such a condensed tendency, where the content or entrails of the video nearly cease to exist, and all that remains is our willingness to remain on the app, watching the video, racking up ad revenue. Thusly, the content creator becomes a middleman that is bafflingly easy to cut out. And then in the atomization of TikTok into subsections that can never truly all communicate with each other or break the confines of their own algorithm, it becomes next to impossible for creators to ever coalesce in order to make their needs or concerns heard. It's kind of diabolically brilliant, you know, scatter them at the base, treat them poorly, make them so disposable that they can never truly petition for anything. But that analysis fails to account for public opinion. Of course, TikTok doesn't really seem to give a shit about public opinion. Really quick, let's talk about the algorithm and implicit bias, more so the claim that algorithms aren't racist or can't be racist. Many TikTok creators who are non-white or not Eurocentrically attractive have of course had experiences with racism, but also believe that their level of success has been stifled because of their race. Some people want to undercut these people by saying that TikTok is just showing people what they want to see based on infinitesimally specific metrics that we probably could not comprehend as people. Thusly, these creators should roll over and accept their numbers as a sort of inevitability. However, when there are human beings beings raised in a racist society whose behaviors are being monitored, these algorithms are going to appraise every unintentional action that occurs due to implicit racial bias and code them into how they show you content. So of course, in a world dominated by white supremacy and patriarchy, the algorithms that listen to people are going to be listening to the world by extension. And then we get into moderating and shadow banning, which we don't actually know much about because TikTok standards and moderation policies are incredibly vague and opaque. Probably purposefully so. The amount of TikTok content that exists is almost impossibly vast. There are over 1 billion users, and a lot of them are uploading videos. It is no longer possible to have a group of humans assess all of this content, so it's easier to make nebulous guidelines so that they could take stuff down if it ends up being controversial. And controversial in this, you know, definition can mean like anything. I've gotten videos taken down for adult nudity where I was fully clothed. I have gotten videos taken down for harassment where I was trying to tell people to report a groomer. And these guidelines threaten your ability to post, be followed, and run your account. So a broken moderation system that uses weird half-truths to get your account violations really only works if it doesn't actually matter to the health of the platform whether your account vanishes off of the face of the earth. You know, combine this system, right, of slaps on the wrist that occur randomly that can sometimes go totally like under your radar with the algorithmic system that can make it so your videos go out to 5,000 people sometimes out of like 600,000 followers, and you get the idea of the shadow ban mythos. A shadow ban on social media is the idea that a platform can limit your visibility to users without telling you to chastise you for some unknown action, you know, spamming posts, hashtags, controversial topics, etc. People on TikTok can't really tell when they're shadow banned or if the shadow ban really exists, because if it does, then it looks very close to just what being in a slump on the app looks like. I don't know if that's genius design or just an accident. TikTok is just so volatile, you can't tell if everyone stopped liking you or if the app is slapping you on the wrist for something that it did not tell you not to do. Of course, if this were to be happening, it would be disproportionately impacting users who are not white, not straight, not cis, and may talk about politics, especially revolutionary ones, because these are people who may be reported, harassed, or treated as loci of controversy. According to this article from The Atlantic, Black Lives Matter activists had been accusing TikTok of shadow banning since 2020 when, at the height of the George Floyd protests, it sharply reduced how frequently their videos appeared on users' For You pages. In explanatory blog posts, TikTok and Twitter both claimed that these were large-scale technical glitches. So even if evidence accumulates in favor of the shadow ban hypothesis, companies may dismiss these as unintentional bugs. However, TikTok absolutely fucking did instruct moderators to limit videos by people too ugly, poor, or disabled for the platform, according to internal documents obtained by The Intercept. Literally just cutting to the chase and artificially demarcating the audiences of people who have cracked walls or bad lighting, you know? So people aren't insane. It may just be a matter of time till we get documents that confirm the last few years of Black Lives Matter shadow banning paranoia. Also, consider what is going to be considered ugly by a corporation that is trying to turn a profit. And when you realize it's going to be really racist, get back to me. Abnormal body shape, ugly facial looks, dwarfism, and obvious beer belly, too many wrinkles, eye disorders are amongst the features mentioned in the documents reported by The Intercept. These were all in place to promote growth of the app and to retain new users, basically sanitize the content shown to people so that they wouldn't get scared off. Isn't that awesome? And then political content, I'll just read this excerpt of the Intercept piece. Any number of the document's rules could be invoked to block discussion of a wide range of topics embarrassing to government authorities. Defamation towards civil servants, political or religious leaders, as well as towards the family of related leaders, has been under the policy punishable with a terminated stream and a day-long suspension. Any broadcasts deemed by ByteDance's moderators to be endangering national security or even national honor and interests were punished with a permanent ban, as were uglification or distortion of local or other countries' history, with the Tiananmen Square incidents being cited as only one of 3 real-world examples. A personal live broadcast about state organs such as police office, military, etc. would knock your stream offline for 3 days, while documenting military or police activity would get you kicked off for that day. And the documents also mentioned Tibetan independence and Falun Gong. But these are old documents from early 2020. We don't know how much of them are like actually still in place. Maybe none of them. Regardless, they were unacceptable then, and if they still exist invisibly, they are unacceptable now. But additionally, in late 2019, TikTok admitted to suppressing content from disabled, queer, and fat people under the pretenses of anti-bullying measures. They literally asked people to watch videos of creators and then mark whether they seemed like someone who others might want to bully. You know how the best way to prevent bullying is to keep the bully from seeing them? I love that strategy. So all of these things work together to keep creators, especially marginalized ones, confused and exhausted by the lack of transparency on the app, and confused and exhausted creators are more likely to stop uploading. In spite of all of this, I find myself spending a lot of time on the TikTok app, what I see as an objectively unhealthy amount of time, you know? I don't even perceive myself as using it all that often, yet somehow in the last 5 days, I've spent over 5 hours on the app, and that time just disappeared. I don't remember more than 10 to 15 videos I saw out of probably hundreds, maybe thousands if you catch me on the wrong week. TikTok has a unique atmosphere that it feels like an app hasn't really been able to cultivate before, you know? An addictive quality that permeates through the whole app. TikTok feels like the app to visit as soon as any other app has run out of content. Just the existence of its icon on its phone screen casts a pall over all of my other apps. It feels like it beckons to me. The total and complete surrender of any actual consistency in subject, quality, or substance is somehow liberatory. The algorithm knows me better than I know myself, and why would I question something that has waited hand and foot on me until it can fire my dopamine cannons on a whim? It's what people have always wanted, you know? It's an app that thinks like a friend. It wants to make you happy and get you to stay. But, you know, unlike a dating simulator, it's broken free of the shame associated with its experience. It is an omnipresent cultural zeitgeist. It's normal. I think about all the times I've sent my friends at TikTok thinking about how good my taste is, but it wasn't my taste, you know? I didn't follow the account. I didn't seek out their username. I just took the recommendation the app presented to me and regurgitated it to a friend, establishing the algorithm as a necessary functional middleman between me and the content I present to my friends and experience with them. It's the same thing YouTube makes me feel on a nuclear level. Every single second is entertainment or grief or education or all three. It is maximalist consumption, simultaneously uncompromising and completely tailored to your deepest desires. It is an all-encompassing pathological people-pleaser that has burrowed its way into my conscious and my subconscious, emboldening my most self-righteous pursuits and my most shameful innate biases, all the while distracting me from those very processes that it exploits. TikTok knew that I was transgender before I did. Just like some of my closest friends and partners, I spent months watching videos on queer culture and community and trans liberation before it clicked. Well, TikTok didn't know necessarily, but it clued into a pattern of behavior that I had been exhibiting my entire life, surrounding myself with queer people. It just happened that TikTok's analytics reflected the same deportment. Such a phenomena is commonplace on TikTok. It's not abnormal for a user who presumes themselves to be cis or straight to comment on a video asking why TikTok is pushing them so much queer, trans, lesbian, etc. content, only for them to be met with people alluding to the idea that they haven't realized yet. People who have been down the same path, relating to the early stages of said trajectory. So how is it possible that TikTok is concurrently responsible for suppression of queer content or fostering a safe haven for harassment and pushing queer content to me so emphatically that it accelerated the speed at which I came to terms with my own identity? It's because TikTok is not apolitical, but it is constantly indebted to the users for existing on its platform, regardless of how it treats them when it is creating. It will show us whatever we need to see so that we will stay. It will optimize itself into contradiction to please the greatest amount of people, then separate the natural antipodes that spawn. The homophobes in the queer community will sit so far apart that conflict will be anomalous. The racists and the BLM protesters' feeds will be so different that the only ideological challenge will come from creators responding to and arguing with other creators who hold beliefs that are incompatible with their own. This doesn't at all correlate with a moral backbone, though, just with fostering faux neutrality by obscuring the thick tension that exists. Last year, I stumbled across one of the most hateful accounts I've ever seen, plastered with anti-Semitism and dog whistles that seem to be in favor of an ideology that is not too friendly to marginalized people. I found a video of theirs that contained a direct anti-Semitic character, the Happy Merchant. Something so obviously indicative of hatred and malice and anti-Semitism that it was unmistakable, right? I reported it, and I reported their account. I waited for a response from the moderation bots. I thought of all the times I had received random, near nonsensical community guidelines violations on videos that contained jokes. You know, videos of me replacing innuendos with Looney Tunes sound effects, private videos of me complaining about defamatory comments, sketches where I parody the astringent, boisterous nail of toxic masculinity and online subcultures. I remember the periods where, because of violations, I couldn't change my bio, or comment on videos from friends, or be followed without a notification about the possible controversial nature of my account. I remember being worried about the existence of my account just because I had made jokes. I remember every message I had gotten from the moderation system. Your video posted on 2020-05-24 was muted for violating these guidelines. Please observe these guidelines to help us maintain a safe, respectful TikTok community. Vague, unhelpful, nebulous. I just hope that if TikTok could instantly remove a private video that I made seen by 20 people within 30 minutes of its upload, they could do the same for a Nazi. A few days later, I checked the tab TikTok installed in the app for notifications just from them. Thank you for taking your time to report this user. We appreciate your help in fostering a safe and enjoyable environment for everyone on TikTok. We'll take action if this content violates TikTok's community guidelines. But the video is still up. Nothing had really changed. Thank you for watching today's video. It's long. I had a lot to say. You could probably tell that, though. You know, I've been thinking about it for the last 2 years as I've made content. Thank you to Athletic Greens for sponsoring the video. Use the link in the description to get a 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D3K2 and 5 travel packs free with your first purchase. I'm really excited to be looking forward to being around friends and being able to make collabs and sketches and short films with these people so I can release them to all of you. But LA is also expensive and I'm going to be living alone. My Patreon is linked in the description if you are interested in supporting me through that. I can't promise that I'll be good about the perks. I basically always forget the perks, but there is some backlogged old like secret content there, and when I start making more videos, I'll put more stuff up there too. But basically only support if you want to support me through that. If you don't have the money, I promise you I will be just fine. Don't stress about it. Also, I'm releasing an album this summer. There will be music videos. It's a lot of things, but I promise you'll find something to like. It's called Rose Garden. That's all. That's really all. Take care of yourself, take care of others, be kind to yourself and others, and remember that you are or will be loved by something or somebody, or me maybe, if you don't suck. As always, it's been a pleasure. Until next time, bye. And if I get around to it, here's a compilation of some of my favorite lines from my TikToks while my patrons roll. And if you get mad at me for calling it an orphan mask, my dad died when I was 7. So I'm like half orphan. Plus ratio. Plus young boy's better.
Fuck up, Beta. I am beating you down with words. You look like somebody stretched a foot over a traffic cone.
We decided to go play shuffleboard with the McCartys.
We went through the script, counted them all. It is not dozens of slurs, okay? It's hundreds of slurs.
Or else I would be confident that this dog is a member of Antifa.
Still don't understand how many inches you're supposed to be able to throat the bong.
Yeah, email me about that music thing you were talking about. Yeah.
I say goodbye like I'm a little slut. What?
Fuck. I'm gonna have to delete this TikTok.
Greek fries. This is really creaming. Creaming.
I'm going to jail for having a night out on the town with my boys.
Right, so once again, it's a double homicide charge.
But I think it's extra not fair that the whole time that they were being colonized, they had to hear,
Right, so what's this kind of spice?
we were really on a war-torn battlefield, and you were out here like, the vest? What's that for? If a bullet hits me, it hits me. The bourgeois have been performing devious licks on the proletariat. BBC program.
Yeah!
Because she thinks, like, a venom symbiote relationship will happen with the brown on you, and she'll, like, you know, her whiteness will be tainted or whatever, but
I'm better than you!
Scene? See what I just did there? That's called de-escalation, guys.
But guilty on account of having a fucking night with the boys. Bring it in. This guy fucking gets me. Let's go.